This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
I'd like to welcome in Olin Buchanan, TexAgs.com. Olin, it's good to see you as always, man. Jimbo Fisher up today. I'm sure that you guys have already asked him about Bobby Petrino and whatnot. What does that dynamic look like as far? Because I think a lot of our listeners want to know what that looks like in College Station.
I have no idea. Because Jimbo Fisher does not open practices, and now they did have the spring game, but everything was very vanilla, and they haven't made Bobby available yet. He makes his offensive defensive coordinator available one day a year, and it's sometime in August. We hear things. Oh yeah, it's fine, and that Bobby's is in control of the offense. We hear those things, but we don't really get to. I've learned, don't believe anything until you see it with your own eyes. So it's as much a wait and see situation for us as it is for everybody else.
What are the important things that Bobby Petrino accomplishes this year? Obviously, it's a 5-7 team that you're trying to rescue from last year and get this offense on the roll. What are the priorities you think with that offense?
Well, first of all, getting in the end zone, right?
Right.
5-7, like you said. Yeah. It's oversimplifying it, right? But if they add one touchdown a game more, they're 10-2. So find that touchdown. That's. I think Texas A&M's offense was very stagnant, obviously, last year, and that was just shocking considering some of the talent they had out there. Devon A-Chain, for instance, but it was very predictable, and I think that they're looking for Bobby to come in and add some new wrinkles, add some deception and things like that. Well, heck, y'all are more familiar with him than we are. So, y'all know what he can do, and hopefully some of the good things he did at Arkansas he can bring to College Station. Yeah.
What's the mood now in College Station about the expansion? And, there was a lot said and a lot made of not wanting Texas, not wanting OU in the league, primarily Texas. What is the mood amongst the fan base and amongst the administration about this recent round of expansion in the league?
Ready for it. It's okay. Look, there was a, quote, gentleman's agreement between Mike Slive and, Texas A&M officials that A&M would be the only school in Texas in the SEC. All right, well, Mike Slive, for all the great things he did for the SEC, he's gone, and that agreement, Greg Sankey was not holding to obliged to honor that agreement. That's fine, and then everybody sees how much money supposedly can be made by adding those two, so we get it. And so there was some feeling that they'd rather not have anybody else in Texas, but now they're going to be in, so okay, then you say, all right, let them come on in and work to beat their ass.
That's one way to look at it. I want to ask you about A&M coming in the league in 2012. Do you think that's hurt Arkansas the last decade? We've seen it on the field. Do you think it's hurt in recruiting and overall in the conference standing, the Aggies joining the SEC, and can we see something similar with Texas and Oklahoma entering the league as well?
That's a really good question. I think, I think Arkansas's bigger problem is not A&M being in the league, because I think you were still recruiting against A&M anyway, even before A&M joined. Quite frankly, I don't want to act like an expert on Arkansas football. I'm not, but it just seems to me, from an outsider, Arkansas's issues with Arkansas, with Brett, hiring Brett Bielema, he comes in and disrespects the Texas high school coaches right away and says the way you play football is not good enough. We're not going to, and so, right? Remember that? And he had that thing with Cliff Kingsbury. I think that hurt Arkansas. I think then was it Chad Morris next? I think that hurt Arkansas. Now you got a coach that is not only competent but smart, and people like him, and it seems to me from the outside looking in that they're already recruiting better. So Arkansas's always recruiting against Texas. They're always recruiting against Oklahoma, no matter what the conference is. And, yeah, you had that carrot to say, hey, you can play in the SEC. And so now they have that, and that's legitimate. But just from the outside looking in, it seems to me that the Arkansas's issue is less about that and more about who they had previously as coaches.
Kyle Field just got renovations, just like Donald W. Reynolds Razorback Stadium did. The final neutral site game is going to happen in 2024 in Jerry World. Does A&M have any aspirations to play a neutral site game, or do you think Ross Bjork and Jimbo will be at home or away from here on out? Because that's been a big discussion for Arkansas fans, if there's an appetite to play neutral site games in future schedules. Just
from the conversations I've had with them, if we're talking exclusively Arkansas, no, they're ready to get back on campus. I wouldn't say that they'll rule out any of those neutral site games, but from the conversations I've had, especially with Ross, is they prefer the games that they're going to be playing. They prefer to play on campus. Like they got Notre Dame coming up next year on the campus. They're not going to play in Chicago. They're going to play in South Bend. I think Arizona State's coming up. I don't know where they're going to play that, but I think I would assume in Tempe. So, yeah, with my discussions, they would prefer to play on campus, and I look forward to that. I'd much rather. I mean, the trip going up to Dallas is a lot easier for us, but I just think college football is better when you're playing in the college stadiums.
We're live on Radio Row in Nashville, SEC Media Days, visiting with Olin Buchanan with TexAgs.com. I think a lot of people are glossing over the fact that there's a lot of returning starters coming back for A&M. I think 10 on both sides of the ball. There's a lot to build. I know it's returning starters from a 5-7 team, but there's a lot of experience coming back, highly recruited class. How does that play in this year to kind of where things are positioning early for A&M?
Well, I think that's a reason to have some optimism, right? And I think at Texas A&M you got to learn to have cautious optimism. Now they were 5-7, and but they're also very youthful. Now that can't be the excuse or the only explanation, because I don't care how youthful you are, you shouldn't lose to Appalachian State. But that said, there were a game, I think it was the Auburn game, they started 6, maybe 7 true or redshirt freshmen just on offense. And the best thing about freshmen, of course, they become sophomores, especially in the SEC when you're going against, you got 18-year-old guys. I don't care how good they are. Now they're going in the SEC going against grown men who, by the way, were also highly recruited. So I think that the fact that they were so young last year and those young guys got experience and have a year of physical growth and mental growth gives you a reason to have some, again, cautious optimism that you could come in and maybe do the Auburn 2012 to 2013 rebound, or TCU last year, or Michigan from 2020 to 2021. Obviously, that's what they're hoping.
Yeah. How pivotal is that Miami game? You're going to Coral Gables, second game of the year. What are people thinking about that game down there?
Well, I mean, obviously, it's every game's important when you're coming off a 5-step, right, and have greater aspirations. But I think the biggest game on the schedule, as far as knowing where your season may go, is going to be Arkansas. SEC game, I know you won last year, and it didn't really have as big an impact on your season as you did, but you beat Miami last year too. So it's important. You sure don't want to lose to an ACC team, even on the road. But I think when you start looking at the game, say, man, this is the game that's vital. I think it really starts with Arkansas, and that I think the Arkansas game may set the tone for the way the season goes for A&M.
Oh, and before we let you go, outside looking in, Jimbo's seat's hot. Is it hot in College Station?
It's warm, and it'll get hot if they don't play well early, and the more they struggle, the hotter it's going to get, till it's going to be an electric chair in November if they're not significantly better. Look, the last guy, his predecessor, got fired for averaging 8 wins a year over 6 years. And they're averaging, after last year, about 8 wins a year, and
paying him more to do it.
And A&M's always next year's team. I always say, people talk about, hey, 2024 looks good. You haven't even played 2023 yet. It's time, I think, for A&M to, as a program, to start. It can't look to next year anymore. It's got to be this year. And if you can't get it done this year, you need to find somebody that can start getting it done.
Olin, we'll leave it there again. Olin Buchanan, TexAgs.com, kind enough to join us here on Radio Row. Olin, appreciate the time this morning.
Glad to be here.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.